cold steel mini Pendleton Hunter in VG1 stainless. It's got roughly a 3-inch blade and a mite longer handle. It's kind of a Crichton feeling. Handle has a lanyard hole in it right here. It's a pretty handy blade. Takes a pretty keen edge, and sometimes I use it for just little wood crafts and things like that. I don't know why I would not have a Scandi with me or some sort of woodworking knife, but this one can certainly do the trick. So you can see the thickness. Easily splits. It's not a super thick knife, but it's thicker than most in this size range. Let's see. Cross batons pretty well. See how much of a bite it takes into the wood for such a little knife. And the thing is, it's got some strength to it. It can pry out some pretty big pieces for such a small knife. Debarks pretty nicely. The Crichton is pretty grippy in this handle, and after a while working with it, of course it's just a little too thin, and it's not a huge knife, so your hand would get fatigued after a while. If you're wearing gloves, it really helps quite a bit. I think you could work with this knife for quite a while if you're wearing gloves and not be bothered. You can see how easy it was for me to knock down some material on this piece of maple. And the nice thing about the VG1, first of all, stainless is great. I like stainless. I have things about carbon steel that I prefer sometimes, but stainless is great. If I can get a blade in stainless, it still strikes a fire steel just fine for me, which is what I care about. I almost prefer it. Just the edge maintenance and things like that, edge holding, not worrying about rust, kind of favoring the stainless steel lately, as long as it's a hard steel. And for a flat grind knife, hopefully you can see how big of chunks I'm pulling out of this. that's pretty great for a little tiny knife. Let's see, making a spatula at the moment, and might kind of give it a little divot. So I might plow this into a birch tree and use it to tap the birch and run the tonic water down this and collect it in my bucket. Just kind of messing around, we'll see. This is about the right time of the year to collect birch. In fact, I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm going to collect some of that tonic today. This handle material is great though if your hands are wet and you're working with meat in a deer or some animal that your hands are bloody. This kind of handle material would be great. Really easy to clean off and just a great texture. You're never going to lose your grip. Try to cut through something or muscle through something. Here's my spatula I'm starting. But again, I'm just going to turn it into a little ramp, actually, to collect a little bit of that birch water. But this removes material, as you can see, pretty easy. That wasn't that bad. I've had more comfortable handles, but this knife, for the price it's going for right now, that's an absolute steal of a deal. And blades just consistently razor sharp. So in order to make a little gouge, a vein for that tonic to flow down, you need a really nice tip. And this one has just enough tip to really bite in and make a vein for that water to run down. Not a super penetrating tip, but it's pretty decent. When I think of the Tops knives or the SE knives in this size range, I don't know why their knives are more expensive. This is far superior to a lot of those SE knives in this size range. And I can't think of another company that's providing an option of this quality materials at this price point. I mean, Condor has some pretty useful knives in this range that are affordable, but their materials are different. It's not the same. All right, there we go. We got our little notch cut in there. If you could see that. There's the notch. Now I'm just gonna thin this out into a little pole. I'm gonna jam this into a tree, wedge it around a little bit, and I will angle this up into the tree, hammer it in, and the tonic will drip down this into my cup. This is something that would be insanely difficult with a big knife. It's really fine work. It should be really hard. All right, there it is. There's the little ramp that will feed the water down to me.